God says, a lot of money will come into your hands today after you see this today is not like any other day. This moment, right now, is divine in its appointment. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. Your spirit was drawn here, magnetized by something deeper than logic, something greater than circumstance. God is speaking through the silence, through the symbols, through the screen in front of you. He is telling you a lot of money is about to come into your hands. Not someday, not eventually, today, but before it manifests in the physical, it must first be received in the spiritual. You must accept it in your mind, feel it in your heart, and claim it as already yours. What you see with your inner eye becomes the seed of what you will hold in your hands. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. You are standing at the edge of breakthrough, not because you begged, but because you believed. Now is the time to receive. Today is not like any other day. This moment, right now, is divine in its appointment. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. Your spirit was drawn here, magnetized by something deeper than logic, something greater than circumstance. God is speaking through the silence, through the symbols, through the screen in front of you. He is telling you a lot of money is about to come into your hands. Not someday, not eventually today. But before it manifests in the physical, it must first be received in the spiritual. You must accept it in your mind, feel it in your heart, and claim it as already yours. What you see with your inner eye becomes the seed of what you will hold in your hands. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. You are standing at the edge of breakthrough, not because you begged, but because you believed. Now is the time to receive. Today is not like any other day. This moment right now is divine in its appointment. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. Your spirit was drawn here, magnetized by something deeper than logic, something greater than circumstance. God is speaking through the silence, through the symbols, through the screen in front of you. He is telling you a lot of money is about to come into your hands, not someday, not eventually, today. But before it manifests in the physical, it must first be received in the spiritual. You must accept it in your mind, feel it in your heart, and claim it as already yours. What you see with your inner eye becomes the seed of what you will hold in your hands. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. You are standing at the edge of breakthrough, not because you begged, but because you believed. Now is the time to receive. Today is not like any other day. This moment, right now, is divine in its appointment. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. Your spirit was drawn here, magnetized by something deeper than logic, something greater than circumstance. God is speaking through the silence, through the symbols, through the screen in front of you. He is telling you a lot of money is about to come into your hands. Not someday, not eventually, today. But before it manifests in the physical, it must first be received in the spiritual. You must accept it in your mind, feel it in your heart, and claim it as already yours. What you see with your inner eye becomes the seed of what you will hold in your hands. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. You are standing at the edge of breakthrough, not because you begged, but because you believed. Now is the time to receive. The imagination is the source of all wealth. Wealth does not come from labor alone, nor from luck, nor from the hands of others. Wealth begins in the unseen realm, the world within you. It begins in the imagination, in that quiet inner chamber where visions are formed and realities are shaped. Every fortune that has ever been made was first imagined. Every empire, every mansion, every business deal was first a seed in the soil of consciousness. You have been taught to believe that money comes from effort, but that is only partially true. Effort without vision is wasted energy. Vision, when combined with feeling and persistence, draws wealth effortlessly. Your imagination is the divine creative force through which all things are made. When you close your eyes and dare to see yourself wealthy, truly see it not as a fantasy, but as a reality already possessed, you are stepping into the highest law of creation. You are using the same power by which the universe was formed. And what you consistently imagine with belief and gratitude must come to pass. This is not philosophy. This is spiritual law. Yet many ignore this inner treasure. They look to the outer world for signs, for evidence, for permission to believe. But the world is not the cause. It is the effect. It is a mirror faithfully reflecting the content of your sustained inner imagery. If you see lack and limitation outside, it is because you have accepted lack and limitation within. If you constantly affirm, "I don't have enough, I'm struggling, money is hard to come by," then your world must echo that decree, but the moment you reverse it, not through lip service, but through true, heartfelt imagination, you set a new law in motion. When you see yourself handling large sums of money, feeling the weight of it in your hands, sensing the freedom and joy it brings, you are making a declaration to the universe. This is who I am now. That inner acceptance is what begins the attraction. The world, in response to your new self-concept, begins to rearrange, people appear, opportunities shift, unexpected sources of income emerge, and none of it is random. It is the out-picturing of your sustained assumption. But this process requires discipline, not of action but of attention. Most people use their imagination destructively. They rehearse fears, they worry about bills, they relive past failures, and then they wonder why more scarcity appears. But your imagination is not biased. It simply produces what you persistently plant. It does not care if you use it to bless or curse, to create abundance or lack. It only brings forth the fruit of the seeds you water. So the question becomes, what are you watering? What pictures dominate your mental screen? What story are you telling yourself every day when no one is watching? Because that story is what becomes your experience. You cannot live a rich life while entertaining images of poverty. You cannot expect abundance while emotionally reacting to every bill, every bank balance, every delay. Instead, you must turn inward and take ownership of your creative power. Begin even now to construct a new image. See yourself as the person who always has more than enough. Imagine opening your account and smiling at the overflow. Imagine the feeling of peace, freedom, and generosity. Imagine what you would do, how you would live, who you would bless, and do not just see it, feel it. Feel it so deeply that it becomes more real than your current situation. Feel it until the doubt fades, until your spirit lifts, until your entire being says yes to the vision. That inner yes is your key. That is the agreement that sets things in motion. But be warned, the outer world may not change overnight. There may be a delay. There may even be resistance, but this is not failure. This is the world adjusting to match your new state. Be still, be faithful. Do not undo your work with fear or impatience. Return again and again to the vision. Make it your dwelling place, and soon, sooner than you think, you will see the evidence. Money will come not because you chased it, but because you became the version of yourself who already has it. That shift in being is the secret. Not I want, but I am, not I hope, but I already received, and in that confidence the flow begins. Remember, you are not poor, you are not broken, you are not powerless, you are the image, maker, the life, shaper, the door through which spirit becomes substance. All the money you could ever need is already accounted for in the unseen. You are not trying to get it, you are simply learning to allow it, and the key to that allowance is imagination. So do not look around, look within. Do not beg God to provide. Instead, accept that he already has. Your role is not to plead, but to assume, not to strive, but to receive. Today, begin again. Turn off the noise of doubt, and let the theater of your mind become your sanctuary. Imagine richly, feel deeply, and know with quiet certainty that wealth is already yours. For the moment you see it clearly in your mind, the world has no choice but to conform. Feeling is the secret to manifesting financial abundance. It is not enough to think about money. You must feel it. Thought by itself is weak when it is divorced from feeling. You can affirm abundance with your mouth all day, but if your heart vibrates with fear, if your body tenses at the sight of a bill, if your mood shifts every time you check your bank account, then you are not aligned with abundance. You are resisting it. The secret is not in speaking it, but in feeling it. Feeling is the true prayer, the silent agreement with the invisible realm. Feeling is the magnetic force that attracts what matches it. When you feel rich, even before the evidence shows up, you are laying the foundation for the riches to appear. This is why many people struggle. They say the right words but continue to feel poor, to feel anxious, to feel undeserving. And life, being the mirror it is, does not respond to their statements but to their emotional states. So you must master this truth. The world outside is shaped not by logic or effort, but by emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. It is the frequency that signals to the universe what you believe you deserve. If you carry a deep, constant fear of not having enough, then lack must respond to that vibration. Not because life is cruel, but because life is obedient. The law is perfect. It cannot bring you what you contradict with your feeling. But the moment you begin to feel what you desire as though it were already here, everything begins to shift. The money you want is not far away. It is already yours in potential form. It is stored in the invisible, waiting for you to align with it emotionally. The bridge between the invisible and visible is your feeling. And that bridge is always under your control. You can feel abundance even with an empty wallet. You can feel security even if your current situation is shaky. You can feel blessed even if you're still waiting for the breakthrough. The feeling is not dependent on circumstance. It is independent of it, and that's what gives it power. When you feel rich before the money shows up, you are living in faith. You are embodying the state that produces the outcome. This is not delusion, it is creation. It is a spiritual discipline, an inner alignment with divine order. All things begin within, and all true change begins with a change of feeling. This is why it is written, ask, believing you have already received, and it shall be yours. The believing is not mental alone, it is emotional. It is a felt reality, not just a thought. When you say, I am rich, you must say it with a warmth in your chest, a sense of peace and expectancy, a joy that no circumstance can shake. That is the secret, and that is what opens the floodgates. So how do you develop this feeling? You practice daily. You turn inward, even if only for a few minutes, and you live the scene of your wealth. You sit quietly and imagine the experience of having more than enough. Picture yourself giving generously, spending freely, smiling with gratitude. Hear the words of congratulations. Sense the luxury, the ease, the freedom. But most of all, feel it in your body. Let your nervous system get used to the vibration of wealth. Let your cells carry the imprint of already done. You may not feel it instantly. That's okay. Persist. Repetition is key. Just as a musician practices scales or an athlete trains his body, so must you train your emotional state. You must rehearse abundance, not just in thought, but in feeling, and do not concern yourself with how the money will come. That is not your job. Your only task is to feel yourself into the version of you who already has it. From there, the how will unfold, doors will open, people will appear, ideas will drop into your mind like lightning. But none of it will happen unless the internal frequency is first tuned to abundance. This is the path walked by those who receive without strain. They have mastered the inner world. They understand that money is not the goal, alignment is. And when you are emotionally aligned with the truth that you are already abundant, the outer world has no choice but to reflect that back to you. This is why you must watch your feelings closely. Be honest with yourself. If you're saying affirmations but secretly doubting them, pause. Don't repeat words you don't believe. Instead, go deeper. Ask yourself, what would it feel like if this were true? Don't just say, I'm wealthy. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the security. And if you can't feel it yet, that's okay. Start small. Recall a time you felt blessed, even in a small way. Use that feeling as your entry point. Expand it, multiply it. Let it grow inside you until it becomes your dominant vibration. Soon, that inner change will produce outer results. Life responds to the dominant vibration, not the occasional wish, and your dominant vibration is shaped by your most consistent feelings, so protect your emotional state. Guard it like treasure. Don't let fear enter and take root. Don't let frustration plant seeds of doubt. Feel rich, feel worthy, feel capable. Even if the world tells a different story, keep your inner state fixed. Because your inner state is your cause, and the outer world is the effect. Change the feeling, and the fact will follow. You are not far from the breakthrough. In truth, the breakthrough is already within you, waiting for you to believe in its arrival. And belief in its purest form is feeling. So today, make a sacred decision. Choose to feel what you want to receive. Choose to align not with your current condition, but with your destined abundance. Choose to embody the wealth that is already yours in spirit. For the moment you feel it as real, it begins to take shape. The money is coming, not because you chase it, but because you become the version of yourself who already holds it. And that version of you lives in a state of unwavering feeling. Your current reality is just an echo of past thoughts. Look around you. Everything you see in your life right now, every circumstance, every result, every financial situation, is nothing more than the outpictured reflection of your former inner world. It is not your current reality that defines you, but your past patterns of thinking and feeling that produced what you are now living. This is the great secret most never realize. Your outer world is always delayed, always trailing behind the inner world of your thoughts and assumptions. It is not punishing you, it is obeying you. What you accept as true within must eventually become fact without, but by the time it becomes visible, the process that created it is already long complete. You are never experiencing the present. You are walking through the harvest of your former inner states. This means if lack is showing up now, if limitation seems to surround you, it is not a verdict on your worth, nor is it a divine denial. It is merely an echo of beliefs you once held, assumptions you once accepted, images you once clung to without even knowing it. The good news is this: if the outer world is nothing more than a mirror, then it is also moldable. Change the cause and the effect must follow. Change your inner concept of self, and life itself must obey. You are never trapped by your current experience. You are only being shown where your old thinking has led you. And the moment you choose a new thought, a new vision, a new inner state, you begin the process of transforming what will come next. But you must stop reacting to the outer world as if it has power over you. It does not. It only has the power you have unknowingly assigned to it. The bill is not your master. The bank account is not your source. The job is not your provider. These are all effects, nothing more. You are the cause. Your consciousness is the origin point of everything that flows into your life. If you dwell on fear, scarcity, and struggle, you will see more of it, not because life is cruel, but because life is just. The law is exact. It can only bring you what you have embodied. But if you can see through the illusion of the current moment, if you can look beyond what is and fix your attention on what shall be, then you rise above the echo and become a deliberate creator. The world may tell you to be realistic, but realism only binds you to what already is. Faith, imagination, and persistence are how you transcend the limitations of today and shape a greater tomorrow. Do not curse your current state. Bless it. Bless it as the evidence that the law is working. Bless it as a sign that what you once assumed became flesh. Then turn your gaze inward and assume something higher, richer, better. And do it not with desperation, but with calm certainty. If the law worked to create lack, it will work to create wealth. If it brought limitation, it can bring freedom. The power never left. It only reflected the direction in which you aimed it. Aim higher now. Think of yourself as already transformed. Feel yourself already elevated. Don't wait for the change to show before you believe. Believe, and the change must show. This is the reversal of ordinary thinking. Most wait to see the fruit before they feel the joy, but you must feel the joy now to create the fruit tomorrow. Today's condition is not your identity. It is your old assumption wearing clothes, and tomorrow's reality will wear the clothing of what you assume today. So assume wisely, feel richly, believe with boldness. The only time that matters is now. Now is your point of power. Now is where the future is written. Right now, as you hear these words, you are choosing what kind of tomorrow you will walk into. You may think you are just listening or reading, but in truth you are vibrating, attracting, and aligning. You are always creating. There is no pause button on this power. It works whether you acknowledge it or not. So why not acknowledge it? Why not harness it? Why not become conscious of the divine engine running within you at all times? The first step is to stop judging the present. Stop complaining about what you see. Start interpreting your life as the perfect mirror of your inner state, and then take back your power by assuming something new. If you are broke today, it is because you once accepted the identity of broke. If you feel stuck, it is because you once believed the lie that progress wasn't possible. But if you can now say within yourself, I am wealthy, I am free, I am overflowing with opportunities and provision, and feel it to be true, then you have planted a new seed, and the law guarantees that it will bear fruit. Do not dig it up with doubt. Do not water it with fear. Nurture it with repetition, with quiet conviction, with expectancy. The tree does not grow overnight, but it grows inevitably. So too will your reality. You are walking through an echo, but you are not bound to repeat it. You are not at the mercy of your past. The power that shaped it still lives in you, ready to shape again. You do not need anyone's permission. You do not need perfect conditions. You only need to assume a new state and persist in that assumption until the world reflects it. Most people give up too soon. They plan a new idea, but when the echo of the old reality lingers, they become discouraged. Don't do that. Stay the course. When the old echo shows its face, smile at it. Say to yourself, this is just the smoke of yesterday's fire. I am kindling a new flame today. And know, truly know, that the flame will grow, the echo will fade, the new reality must come, not by chance, not by effort alone, but by the immutable law of consciousness. The law never fails, it only follows. So lead it, lead with vision, lead with faith, lead with a heart full of new assumptions, and then watch as the world, slow but certain, rearranges itself to reflect your upgraded belief. You are the author. Your current chapter is not the end, it's merely a page from a past mindset. Write anew, live anew, assume anew, and the story will turn in your favor. Imagination is the key to unlocking financial overflow. The world was not built by hands, it was built by minds. All wealth, all innovation, all prosperity first began in the unseen dimension of imagination. What you touch now, someone once saw in their mind. What you spend money on, someone else once imagined into existence. You are not excluded from this creative power. You are endowed with it. The imagination is not a toy. It is a tool, a sacred gift, the divine architect of every visible form. Your bank account, your home, your business, your influence. None of these things are external problems to be solved. They are internal conditions to be assumed. Imagination is how you shape them. If you desire financial overflow, you must begin where all abundance begins, in the fertile soil of the imagination. Close your eyes and see not what is, but what ought to be. See your life as rich, not poor. See your hands full, not empty. See yourself walking in ease, not struggle. The error most make is that they only imagine by accident. They worry, which is negative imagination. They expect delays, prepare for loss, anticipate rejection. All of this is imagination misused, and yet the law does not care whether your imagination is used for good or for fear. It simply reflects. So why not choose now, intentionally, to discipline your imagination into divine creation? You cannot wait until your circumstances change. That is not creation, that is reaction. You must lead your life with vision. Your imagination must go before you like a lantern in the dark. If you wait until the money arrives before you feel wealthy, you will wait forever. You must become rich in mind before you are rich in hand. You must imagine with detail, walk through the hallways of your ideal home in your mind, hear the applause of your success, smell the leather of your new car. Feel the texture of wealth. Let your imagination run vividly, consistently, and joyfully. This is not fantasy. This is spiritual law. You are rehearsing the inevitable. The more you live in the end, the more quickly the end will live in you. Your imagination is the workshop where miracles are born. Spend time there. Withdraw daily into your inner sanctuary and create. Don't try to figure it out. You are not meant to play God's role in arranging the how. You are only meant to see the finished picture in your mind and feel it as done. Then the bridge of incidents will unfold on its own. You'll be guided in perfect timing to take inspired action, meet the right people, receive unexpected provision. But it all begins when you imagine as if it's already real. Don't imagine getting money. Imagine having it. Don't picture the process. Picture the prize. Live in the result, not the route. When you use imagination correctly, your nervous system cannot tell the difference between what is imagined and what is physically experienced. That is why you begin to feel peace even before the money shows up. That is why doors begin to open, because your inner world has already arrived where your outer world is going. There is no power in the struggle, there is only power in vision. Imagination is not something to be done passively. It is your job, your spiritual assignment. All breakthroughs are preceded by inner visualization, so ask yourself now, what would it look like to be financially free, not just in words, but in scenes? What would you wear? Who would you help? Where would you go? What would your day look like? You must be specific. Don't merely hope. See, don't merely wish. Construct. Don't merely want, embody. Your imagination is the blueprint. The clearer it is, the faster the reality forms. But be warned, if you abandon your vision halfway, if you return to fear and doubt, you slow the process. You replant weeds where fruit is growing, so hold the image firm, let it burn bright within you, regardless of what your eyes see. This is the test of true vision, to persist in the unseen until it becomes the seen, and you must do it in faith, with joy, with expectation. This is how millionaires are made, this is how breakthroughs occur. They do not wait for permission, they create it within. You may say, but I've never seen this kind of wealth before. That doesn't matter. If you can imagine it, you can receive it. Life does not give you what others have. It gives you what you can hold in your mind as already yours. If you can walk through the door in your imagination, the door will open in reality, and this principle never fails. The only thing that blocks it is doubt. Doubt cancels the image. Doubt erases the blueprint. Doubt tells the soil not to grow the seed, so reject doubt like a thief. Guard your inner vision as treasure. If you do, your life will soon take the shape of your inner movie. You were made in the image of a creator, which means you too are a creator. Not of random results, but of deliberate manifestations. Stop calling it just daydreaming, call it preparation. Stop brushing it off as nice to think about, call it sacred design. Imagination is how you prophesy your own future. And what you hold consistently becomes law to your subconscious. Then it must express. The subconscious knows only one command, repetition with belief. And imagination, repeated with emotion, is the fastest way to implant belief. So today, begin again. Take 10 minutes. Sit in silence and see yourself already in possession of great wealth. See your family smiling. See your debts cleared. See the evidence all around you. And most of all, feel the gratitude of already having it. That feeling is the evidence of your faith. That picture is the seed of your harvest. And if you do not let it go, if you carry it with you each day, speak from it, walk from it, make decisions from it, you will look up one day and realize it is no longer just imagined. It is your life, and it all started when you dared to imagine boldly, joyfully, consistently. Never again underestimate this gift. It is not childish. It is divine. Imagination is the key to unlocking financial overflow. Use it like the sacred tool it is, and there will be no limit to what flows into your hands. The money you seek is already seeking you. What if the wealth you long for is not far off, not delayed, not hiding, but already moving toward you in unseen ways, awaiting only your inner alignment to arrive? What if the money you've prayed for, cried over, fasted about, worried into the night for, is already assigned to you by divine law, circling your atmosphere, waiting for you to say yes, not with your words, but with your consciousness? This is not fantasy. It is spiritual fact. The money you seek is already seeking you. You are not begging for it. You are magnetizing it. And the only thing that determines how quickly or easily it flows is your state of being. Money is not a reward. It is a reflection. It does not show up because you work harder or earn more. In the way the world defines labor, it shows up because your inner vibration matches the frequency of abundance. The moment you stop chasing it like a beggar and start welcoming it like a rightful heir, everything begins to change. You were not made to struggle for money. You were made to command it by embodying the wealth consciousness that is already your inheritance. You do not need to become worthy. You already are. You do not need to prove yourself. You simply need to remember who you are and rise into it. The money is not on the outside of you. It is encoded into your destiny, but you must unlock it through belief, imagination, and unwavering acceptance. You are not waiting for the world to bless you. The world is waiting for you to stop blocking the blessing with doubt, fear, and small thinking. Think higher, speak differently, move like someone who already possesses the answer. See yourself as one who walks in divine supply. When you live in the end mentally and emotionally, money cannot help but show up materially. You are not a victim of economy, politics, or other people's decisions. You are a spiritual being moving through a material world, and that world must reflect the vibration you carry. Raise it, choose again. Every time you say, I can't afford it, you declare to life, I live in lack. Every time you worry about a bill, you affirm a relationship with fear. And every time you imagine worst-case scenarios, you authorize the invisible to build them for you. But when you flip the script, when you say, I am always provided for, money flows to me easily and continuously, I am in alignment with supernatural provision, you become a beacon for the very thing you once chased, and it comes, not through force, but through flow. You will begin to see money appear in strange and beautiful ways. Ideas will come that birth income. People will appear who have been instructed to bless you. Doors will open that logic never saw coming, and you will realize this was never about chasing, it was about becoming. You became the version of you that money could trust, that wealth could rest upon. Not a fearful child begging for rescue, but a mature soul claiming its inheritance with grace and confidence. But you must understand, the outside world does not lead. You do. It reacts. And right now, it is reacting perfectly to your inner script. If money is delayed, it is not because you are cursed. It is because the signal from your inner self has been confused. Align the signal, clarify the vision, heal the belief, and overflow will respond. No more waiting, no more hoping. Begin now to live in the state of already having it. Wake up with gratitude for unseen provision. Walk with the posture of one who is already wealthy. Speak as though the miracle has landed, because spiritually it already has. Time is only catching up to what has already happened in consciousness. The invisible always precedes the visible. The spiritual precedes the material. So don't let your senses fool you into believing lack is real. What is real is the essence of abundance that flows through all of life, through trees, through stars, through your very breath. And that essence has already said yes to you. But your consciousness must agree. The agreement must happen inside before it manifests outside. This is not about pretending, it is about aligning. When you feel like money is distant, remember, it is never the money that is far, only your belief. Close the gap by saying yes. Close the gap by thinking richly. Close the gap by feeling as if it is already done, because spiritually it is. All provision is finished in the invisible realm. Your role is to receive it by faith and live from that place of inner knowing. You will find the more you do this, the less you chase and the more you attract. You will begin to live in a rhythm of divine supply, where needs are met before they even arise, where increase becomes normal, not rare, where miracles are expected, not begged for. And in this place you become a blessing, not just a receiver. You overflow to others, you give from a full cup, and you realize the money was never the prize. You were the portal through which divine abundance wanted to express itself. But it needed you to say yes with conviction, not once, not when desperate, but as a lifestyle, a soul posture, a daily decision to live in the kingdom within, not the chaos without. You do not have to know the way it will be shown. You do not have to work yourself to death. It will be given, but you must hold the vibration. You must remain in the state. Money is already seeking you. The question is, will it recognize you when it arrives? Will it find you in fear or in faith? Will it meet resistance or reverence? Will it encounter a heart ready to receive or a mind still doubting its worth? Today is the day to choose. Today is the moment to rise. Not someday, not when things change. They change when you do. You are the turning point. You are the open gate. You are the appointed vessel. And as you align yourself to that reality, you will find that money flows, not as a stranger knocking at your door, but as a companion that has always been trying to come home. Welcome it, not from need, but from truth. Speak to it, not as a distant dream, but as a faithful partner. And then walk in the certainty that what you've imagined, affirmed, and believed must now come into view. The money you seek is already seeking you. Find it first within, and it will find you without.